Started with recipe 1.2 from QGIS map design. The first thing we want to do is we want to connect to where our data is. I have my data on a thumb drive. And now everything under here, and this is something you should have downloaded from the web, is what's available. We're going to add some geodata here, and the geodata is natural earth vector geodata. It's under packages, and then natural earth vector geopackage. And then we're going to select a couple of things from this long list of geodata. The first thing they ask us to bring in is the 10-meter oceans, which is here. I'm just going to click it here, and then drag it down and drop it into my table of contents. Looks pretty good, except of course we want our oceans to be a little bluer, so I'm just going to double click on this. It's understanding that this is a fill of a polygon, and we're currently using a simple fill. And if we just click on the simple fill here, now we can just click on here and change this to a light blue of our liking. Say OK. We could also leave a, currently there's a line around all the edges of the ocean. If we wanted to get rid of that, go back under properties, or I'll just double click on that again for now. And once I click on simple fill again, if I want to get rid of that line, I could either change the width of the line to 0, or I could change the line to being transparent, and that gets rid of the line. So now we already have our oceans. All we need to do now is bring in our countries, and that's under 10-meter admin countries. And we want to select these ones that include lakes, because otherwise the country boundaries would run down the middle of lakes and they would look too much like land. So I'm going to bring that in as well. And that's what it looks like here. So this is kind of a start here, right? We have all of our countries and all of our lakes in, but then we want to change the styling here. So the first thing we want to change the styling on is the countries here. So I'm going to right click and go under properties. And currently the fill is set for a single symbol, and that's why we only get to assign one color to it. If we do this drop down here, we can see that there are other ones, and we're going to use the categorized ones as the directions indicate. And the column that we're going to use, which is also indicated in the directions, is this map color 7. So I'm going to click map color 7, and then I'm going to classify. So it's going to basically assign a different color to everything that has a different category in map color 7. So classify, I get these different colors here, and then if I say apply, those same colors show up on my map. However, these are not the colors that we want to use, because we want to use colors so that they'll match the exercise for this book that the authors have come up with. So we drop down the style menu, we say load style, and then here we can just import a file which is going to define what those colors are. So we'll go back to the same place we were before, where we got our geodata from here previously. Now we're going to go under resources from what you've downloaded from the book, and we're going to use this shape burst style. And I'm going to say open, and I'm going to load this style. And now we can see that our colors have changed. When I apply these should be colors that are similar but not quite as stylized as the ones that you see in your book. So we have this first layer here, and now what we want to do is, I'm going to close this for a minute. I just want to make a copy of this layer to put right on top. And so I'm going to click here, and I'm going to duplicate my layer. And now you can see it's turned off this one, but I have two layers that are identical right on top of each other. But the top layer is styled as we want it. I'm sorry, the top layer is styled as we want it. And the bottom layer is not styled. This is the copy. I'm going to just move that up to the top. And now I'm going to change the symbology on this one. So we want to use some of the same colors we see here, but we want to do that in a different way. So I'm going to right click here and go under properties. And now I still want to keep it categorized. I still want to use these basic colors, but I want to change the symbols here. So I'm going to click on change here. And for each of these, I'm not going to choose simple fill, but I'm going to go to there. I'm going to choose Starburst Fill. And now it wants to know what colors I'm going to use for the Starburst Fill. So for the first one, I'm actually going to put in an expression. So for the expression, I'm going to edit my expression. And currently it doesn't have anything. I'm going to put in, just as is shown in the book, I'm going to put in @ symbol. And you can see that the things have already showed up here, but this is going to be the symbol color here. Okay. And this other one here, they ask us to set it to transparent. So here, if I pull the drop down here, I can just put transparent here. And we get that little symbol that indicates it's transparent. It says okay. Now I can apply this. And we can see that I get a symbol on top of here. There's two other settings they ask me to do. If I go under my properties, when I'm changing this, I can also change the blur. They ask you to put it at 10. And set the distance, I believe that's 4 millimeters. And say okay. And okay. So now we get something that looks like this, which is part of the way. If I zoom into an area such as they're looking at, this should look similar to your figure 2.4 in your textbook. And this is the second layer that you're going to add. You're then going to, the one other thing you're going to do with this layer is under properties. And now we want to set the opacity of the entire layer. The reason we're doing that is because if we turn this on underneath, we're not getting much of an effect here. So what we're going to do is we're going to, let me turn this off for a minute, right click, go under properties, and then layer rendering, and then we're going to set the opacity to 70%. Okay. And now we're better able to see that layer on top of the other layer. So you're going to go ahead then and copy this layer once again, duplicate it, and then you're going to change the settings on this one on your own. And just follow the instructions in the book in a similar manner, and you should be able to make those changes.